from Steve's Thoughts and Nerd Talk with Brian J from Brian J's Nerd Talk.
Brian J's Nerd Talk, right here with everybody.
We're here to talk to you about a couple things. First off, he wants to talk to you about Secret Invasion, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the matter as well. As to...
You haven't seen it yet, right?
Well, I have no intention of watching it, okay?
Okay.
That shit looks so boring.
Okay, so Secret Invasion, the series was absolutely terrible. It's the worst adaptation that the MCU has done so far. The writing was terrible. They killed off certain characters in a way that felt like it was just done for shock value. Like there wasn't a lot of thought being put into things. Like every reveal and twist for who was the Skrull was like revealed before they should have been revealed, and so the dramatic impact was just gone. The final episode was terrible. It was the worst, like 40 minutes that the MCU has ever done. They created the most overpowered superhero in the history of the MCU. So powerful, with no real development at all, and I just feel like it was all done for the sake of like not for feminism and political correctness. It's like people want to see female superheroes and female characters everywhere. So let's make Amelia. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna say who it is, but let's make this female character the most powerful superhero ever. And I know in the comic books they got Super Skrulls, but like one of the first Super Skrulls got all 4 of the powers from the Fantastic Four. And here, this chick in the final episode got all the superpowers from like 20 different superheroes and supervillains. Thanos' henchman, the Incredible Hulk, Captain Marvel, Captain America, who feels completely useless in the middle of all this. Like Captain America's like the least powerful. He wasn't even necessary in comparison to everything else she got. It was totally crazy and insane, and it was a terrible show. I give it a 4 out of 10. The only reason I give it a 4, I thought some of the acting was good. I thought Nick Fury was really great. The actor who plays the villain in the show, I forgot his name, Kingsley Ben-Adir. He's a great actor. He was a great villain. He really knocked it out of the park. But other than that, Emilia Clarke was terrible. She is not a good actress. She sucks in just about everything. She was great in Game of Thrones because that was a character that was written well for her. But other than that, I mean, I can't think of anything else. There was some good action scenes here or there, but the ending was just terrible. It ended up being a terrible show. All right, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Okay, so my thoughts about Secret Invasion from the trailer to the second trailer to the teaser and all of it. From there, to me, as someone who has read a lot of Marvel comics, is aware of a lot of characters, is sufficiently knowledgeable. It was not appealing. It did not draw my attention. I had no interest. What it gave me was, we're going to do a show to correct something that was done.
That didn't need to be corrected.
It needed to be corrected, but it should have never needed a correction because it should have never been.
What was the correction?
Performed.
What was the correction? Oh, you mean Captain Marvel? But you see, okay, so that's the other thing, and I'm getting into spoiler territory here for some of the story. I'm not spoiling every. I'm not going to spoil everything, but this is the other thing that the MCU has done that doesn't. They think they're making a profound political point with this, with the political issue we're going through with. The refugee crisis and getting a lot of refugees and immigrants into America and other parts of the world because of whether it's climate change or whatever else.
That's a little political there.
No, I know, but I am talking about the political stuff here because I want to talk about this because the way the MCU is doing it is really, really terrible. And so Skrulls, they decided to make the Skrulls good in Captain Marvel movie. So that they could not find a home planet after like 26 years. And so the Skrulls have immigrated to Earth. There's about 1 million Skrulls, and they've immigrated to Earth and they've assimilated and they're in hiding. There's millions of them that are in hiding, right? And so the political statement is that there are immigrants and refugees who are bad, that are bad apples, but not all of them are bad. But we have to persecute the ones who are bad, who are trying to come into our country to do bad things. But we can't generalize all of them, and we have to like give them chances or whatever, and not paint everybody under the same brush, which is a political statement that says nothing. It says absolutely nothing. It says nothing about the crisis. It says nothing about fixing the crisis. It's like we are just going to create these refugee plots and stories that don't really go anywhere, that don't really have a good resolution, and don't even try to give an answer to a problem that is big and complicated. They did this with Captain America. No, they did this with What was the one?
Captain America, Winter
No. The Winter Soldier one. Hawkeye and Winter Soldier. That's what it was called.
No,
Yeah.
Hawkeye is the Archer. That's Clint.
No. The guy who becomes Captain America. Falcon. There we go. It's called Falcon and Winter Soldier. They made that political statement in the last couple episodes where, these people were refugees and they become terrorists because they got kicked out of their homes because like the rest of the 3.5 billion people came back, and so they were resort to terrorism and they kill innocent men, women, and children, right? And so it's like, we're saying that there are refugees who are bad, but not all of them are bad, but they will be bad if they're treated like shit, which says nothing. This political statement says nothing at all. And then they do the same thing in Secret Invasion, but it's Skrulls. And what do they say with this political statement? It's the same thing, but there's no resolution. There's no conclusion. There's no answering to anything. It's just a baseless political statement that is like the worst aspect of what people would call woke Hollywood with a woke mentality. It's like we're going to talk about these issues and we're going to try and make an issue, but we're not going to, we're saying nothing, basically. We're preaching without any content or context or substance to anything we're saying. And that's why Secret Invasion was terrible. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a good show. I liked it, even though the last episode was very hokey and very hollow and didn't really make a lot of sense. But what they did in Secret Invasion, they took what was done in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and they made it even worse. It was like way worse than what was done. You feel me?
Yeah. Well, so the thing with Secret Invasion, in my honest view of it, it didn't feel as an actual series. It felt more so as a placeholder to try to correct some things to make someone who would be on par, if not sufficiently capable of being the enemy for Captain Marvel. Not the other heroes, just Captain Marvel herself. And
it was a terrible adaptation because they whatever plot and whatever twist they could have had was just ruined by all the reveals of who was the Skrull.
Think of it like this. Yeah. We got this drink here. Just follow the straw. Let me lower it so you can see the drink. We have this drink here. This is the bad guy, but you know it's the bad guy because you see the drink before the whole surprise. There's a drink back.
Yeah, and it was, the twists and turns were just revealed like early on, long before the twist. It had no impact whatsoever. And the director, to me, is a complete idiot because he tried to say that Rhodes had been kidnapped since Captain America Winter Soldier. No, since Captain America Civil War, since 2016.
Civil War. So
since 2016. And this makes no sense because Rhodes
was bleeding
and he bled red in Avengers Endgame. And he was also crying and feeling pain and remorse for his friend Tony Stark dying. So none of that made any sense. They're fucking up the timeline. Excuse my language. They're screwing up the timeline. They're not making any sense. I know there are kids here. Sorry. I know.
They're destroying.
They're ruining the timeline. They're not making any sense. Nothing is adding up, and they're making things more confusing than they should. And it's just terrible how Kevin Feige has lost control of the ship. It's going there's a destination, but the process is getting rockier and rockier. It's getting worse and worse, and the ship is sinking. And Disney in the theaters have had 4 box office flops that has lost Disney billions of dollars. Even though 4 flops so far. Even though they're still the #1 studio in terms of money that's been made at the box office, they have had 4 major flops for their big budget movies. While Warner Brothers,
at this point, Disney should just change the name from the biggest success of studios to the consecutive streak of losses.
And their most successful movie that did well is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Did not make $1 billion. It could have, but it didn't. And Universal's most successful movie is the Super Mario Brothers movie that's made $1.3 billion. And Warner Brothers' most successful movie is Barbie, which is about to make $1 billion today. So Disney needs to get its stuff together because this is getting worse, and it's Secret Invasion was just trash. It was trash.
I don't believe Disney and Marvel are capable of correcting at this point, course correcting. Unless they no. The reason why I don't see Marvel course correcting is unless they do a complete reset and a reboot.
I think they're going to try and do that. It's not even a reboot, but or a reset. It's like they're going to be fixing things. I feel like they're going to use the writer's strike and the actor's strike as an excuse. I think the Thunderbolts movie will be canceled because there's been no, it hasn't been announced yet. I think that movie could be canceled because the script is going nowhere. It's a mess, and they could just use the writer's strike as an excuse. to delay stuff or to cancel it. Bob Iger has been smart in delaying so much stuff into 2024 and 2025.
Well,
So that's smart because that's the other thing. There was too much content over the span of 2 years with Marvel and Star Wars from 2021 and 2023, and people on Disney Plus got completely burned out, and that's why they're still losing subscribers. And I don't know if Disney Plus will be around for another 2 years at this rate. In fact, Bob Iger, if he's smart, he will have to sell Disney to Apple before really doing anything major.
I want to say this. Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say because you wouldn't shut up.
That's not my fault.
The point is, Disney has created more issues for themselves because of their inability to maintain continuity with storytelling. Storytelling has been their biggest
because there's too much
failure.
content. Because there's too much content.
I wouldn't say it's too much.
No,
content.
it is too much content.
No,
It really is. The writers have said that because when they made WandaVision, it came out during the time when the writers for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness were writing and finishing the script, and they never watched WandaVision, which is why Wanda was the villain in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It did not make any sense, and there was a disconnect. And because there's too much content, the writers are not keeping up with what everybody is doing with the movies and the TV show, and that's why nothing is making any sense right now. And there's too many people doing too much stuff. Kevin Feige cannot keep in control. Kevin Feige cannot keep in control of everything that's going on in his house because there's too many cooks in the kitchen. There's too many writers, too much stuff going on, and too much content.
So the problem that Disney has is that for one pot of soup, instead of having the chef, sous chef, and the line cook, they have 27 chefs, 96 line cooks, and 800 different other people.
Yeah.
There's too many people in one tiny cramped room. It's impossible.
Yeah, Lucasfilm has the same problem. The thing is that Lucasfilm has too much content, but Lucasfilm, the two writers and showrunners that are on the same page with the shows they're making is Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Meanwhile, everybody else can kind of do what they want, which is why Tony Gilroy with Andor did such an extraordinary job because he's making something that's connected to Rogue One in the original trilogy, but he can add in his own great, brilliant writing and gravitas to what he's actually doing, and that's what makes it so great. So,
All right, anyways, moving on. We're killing way too much time. We've already killed about 15 minutes now.
I'm done talking about Secret Invasion. The show was absolute trash. So let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3.
Wait, no. Before we get to Baldur's Gate, we want to mention this, that Microsoft Xbox, Activision Blizzard King are currently in discussion for being able to pass or go through with the deal in the UK. The CMA, the Competition Markets Authority, I believe what it's called, is right now negotiating with Xbox and Microsoft because of the fact that their negotiations are ongoing, and this is something that was ordered by the CAT, the CAT, what was it? Competition Authority Tribunal, something.
Yeah.
To my fellow UK viewers, gamers, audience, I'm not familiar with your agencies, to be honest. I have a harder time dealing with agencies.
And here's the thing, because the FTC has been shut down like 3 or 4 times now.
5 times now. 5 times.
At least 5 times. The deal's going to go through whether or not the CMA rules in Microsoft's favor.
So
because the deal.
I also want to mention the fact that the reason why Microsoft and Xbox are not going to close the deal over the CMA.
Because they want to do everything right.
They want to do everything right, and also because
by the book.
If they're able to get a negotiation with the CMA, this will allow them for future acquisitions to be able to go through or to have not so much of a drawback of an issue, especially with the CMA, come on such matters. For instance, if such acquisitions were to be followed as listed in their documentation, say Sega, Square Enix, there were additional other studios that were listed. What were just saying on Square Enix because on top of that I remember off the top of my head. Those are the studios. If they're able to buy them, they would like to acquire them. And if the CMA is not going to put up such an on the fence type of denial objection to it, it'll help in the long run. And going with the proper channel also is respectful because they won't look as if they're negotiating with CMA and then talking with the competition tribunal and just kind of smacking the CMA around. And then CMA is going to have reason to be more hostile to any forward business with Xbox.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a smart thing to do, but whether the CMA rules in Microsoft's favor or not, the fact is that Microsoft can go through the deal because it's been approved by 40 different countries, including in America. and so the deal is going to go through without the CMA or with the CMA. But the fact is that they just want to do everything right, and it's most likely going to go through this month, and I just hope to be done with this, And yeah, and Microsoft.
I want to mention that the fact that this whole court issue has been the one most exciting thing for all upcoming games.
Yeah, there was a lot of big announcements.
Has been truly mind blowing that we can't.
Including claiming that Elder Scrolls 6 could come out in 2026. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to come out in 2027. That'll be late 2027. Yeah, that'll most likely be the case. But it's been an interesting set of circumstances. The FTC has completely embarrassed themselves. But I will say this: Microsoft owning a major company and publisher and studio like this, it's not great for big tech to own so much. But the argument from the CMA and Sony was just so terrible, and they made themselves look bad because what they were accusing Microsoft of doing, Sony's been doing for the last 10 years, and it's gotten worse under Jim Ryan in the last 4 years. So just let it go through. Fuck it. I mean, if you're gonna make that level of hypocritical argument, you're fucked either way. So.
And I'm gonna say this: I do agree that big tech should not have the largest control over
everything,
over whatever it may be. It is within a sense reasonable that Microsoft have this acquisition, because as the Sony diehard fans say that Xbox needs to bring the competition, get games out and such. Well, now that Xbox is about to be in the ability to own ABK, it allows them to bring out games, add some more libraries, and now some diehards are upset. But moving away, and with the most recent
it's only Sony fanboys are upset, and fanboys for both of those consoles are really stupid. Listen, they're both kind of idiots.
If you want,
I mean, why are you fanboying over a console? Just get all consoles.
No, it's a piece of plastic.
Get all platforms so you can play all video games. I want great games because I love video games. I'm not pro this console or that console. I find that
what I'm pro? I am pro. Shut your mouth and play games.
I find that mentality to be really, really stupid. It's very, very stupid.
It is. You know what's the greatest console of all time though? PC. Because Game Pass is on PC. You can also play PlayStation games 2 years later after they release the console. And you have the biggest market for all video games on PC.
Although, I mean, PC is also the oldest console for gaming. That's where video games were first created and first played on a military base. The first game ever created was on a computer in a military base back in the 1960s.
That would be what, Colossus back then?
I forgot the name of the game. No, it was like
no. That's the name of the game. I'm talking about the computer.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was Colossus. But but PC has been struggling this year. So many PC launches have been broken. Forspoken was trashed on PC.
I bought it for the PlayStation. I need to play it.
I still haven't played it. I'm
gonna live stream.
I bought it.
I'm gonna criticize.
I bought it.
Make videos.
I bought it. I want to play it, and I'm gonna sell it to Book Off. That's what I'm gonna do. But that PC launch was terrible. The PC launch for The Last of Us Part 1 was trash. The PC launch for Redfall was trash, as well as for Xbox Series X. The PC launch for Star Wars Jedi Survivor was also trash. I'm like, yo, PC fans? Like, yo, I thought Cyberpunk 2077 was like the worst launch ever, and I love that game, but the bugs and the glitches and the crashes were crazy. I thought that was the worst launch ever until 2023. Bro, that shit is the worst.
Anyway,
that shit is the worst, bro. That was crazy.
Let's move on. We're about to reach 21 minutes. So the next thing we're going to talk
Let's
about.
Go another 30 minutes. I'm joking.
Baldur's Gate 3 is what we're going to talk about now. Well, you're about to hit 20. I'm about to hit 30.
Right.
21.
You're 21.
Anyways,
I'm almost 20.
Baldur's Gate 3. The exciting parts about it is the concept, the landscape of the game. It is huge. It is.
We're talking about Baldur's Gate?
Baldur's Gate 3?
Oh, yeah, it's incredible.
It is a huge.
It looks so great.
It looks, it plays, it just. To the studio that's making it.
And it's not even a major studio, and it's not even a big studio, but they make AAA games, and this is their biggest game. And so far, it's got a lot of love. It's considered a success so far. It's got great reviews, and the reason why some game developers or whatever are like dislike trying to criticize it or is telling gamers to not expect this level of artistry from everybody is one, they're jealous. Two, this game isn't doing microtransactions to try to steal more of your money. And it just looks so great. It's so massive. There's a million different choices to play this game. There's over 179 or 177 different endings.
Plus.
There's 170 plus endings, and there are so many different ways to play the game, and you have to try hard not to get into a love interest situation. You can have, it's so easy to get a love interest and to get a love scene with any NPC and any character in the game. It's crazy.
Think about this. For my fellow gamers, RPG players, and anime fans who like the harem genre. You can basically haremize every man or every woman and or every animal and or.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play as a female demon character, and I'm going to romance everybody. And on Starfield, my character is going to be a black woman with a pink mohawk, and her name is going to be Shaniqua.
I'm in the bathroom.
That's going to be the name of the character. And I paid the $31 edition for Starfield, so I get to play it 5 days early. So I'm looking forward to that.
$31 edition? Mm-hmm. There's a $31?
It's a discount for Game Pass people. For Game Pass. There's a $31 special edition to where if you buy it, which I did yesterday, you get to play the game 5 days early. So I'm going to be playing it August 31st. I start downloading it at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. That's when I'm going to start playing it. So Thursday night, I'm not going to be at Action Burger. I'm not going to be anywhere. I'm just going to be playing that game all freaking night. I'm just going to be playing that game all night.
Now, I want to mention this. The fact that because the scape of how a lot of developers...
Whoa, I was wrong. We were wrong. Baldur's Gate has a whopping 17,000 different endings.
Wow.
17,000 ending variations.
Goodbye.
That is crazy.
Goodbye all my time on the PlayStation. Goodbye all my time on the Switch.
Goodbye my social life.
Goodbye social life. Goodbye the fact that I'm gonna probably lose out on a couple dates. And I think my family's gonna end up looking at me like I'm a hermit because I'll probably be locked away somewhere playing games.
I'm not doing anything. I'll only go outside.
I'll go outside for air.
I'm only gonna go outside to pay rent and to buy groceries. That's it.
Yeah, same here. But I want to mention that studios being upset about how, this is just not how you should view and or have expectations for AAA games. These studios are in the wrong. These studios need to be able to make this level of a game with their budget being AAA. For all the studios that are saying, Baldur's Gate 3 is a game you shouldn't have expectations about when it comes to AAA. No, it's the expectation that is supposed to be set by you as a developer, as a studio, as people working on development in the studios. This is the level of expectation for AAA. Unless Microsoft says this is gonna be a studio we buy and make quadruple A games with.
Yeah. And also,
I wouldn't mind that at this point because.
And also, I just want to point out that Warner Brothers for the Mac streaming service has lost over 2 million subscribers. So I just wanted to mention that. But go ahead, let's go back to Baldur's Gate 3.
I want to mention, it's like, how is that your job is to design, develop, create, and then bring to life that video game? When you're saying, no. You shouldn't think that's how we're going to make games, even though you work for a studio that has over 600 employees. That should be something you're able to do with reasonable expectation and without so many issues.
Yeah.
Financial issues being one. Manpower being another. Time for consoles should not even be an issue. It doesn't make any sense that people are saying this is an unrealistic expectation for AAA games. No, that is a realistic expectation for AAA games. You work for a company that has you in a studio with over 300, 400, 500, sometimes 600 plus employees. That should be something within your wheelhouse of being able to achieve.
Yeah.
And if you're not able to achieve that, well then you're clearly not meant to be a game developer because you're not breaking the industry at all. the development studio behind Baldur's Gate 3, I applaud them for taking the time to make this game. This game is something I'm going to be invested in. Forget anything else. Like, you could have 20 other AAA games come out. I'll ignore them. Play this game. That's what I will do. Plus, my backlog needs to be played.
Yeah.
So for development studios to say, no, you can't, Brian, you, a gamer, you, viewers, audience, unrealistic expectations for AAA games. No, that is a lie. That is wrong, and they are lying to you because this game has no, as far as we can tell, no microtransactions. It's a one and done game. Buy the game, play it. It's yours. We're not going to charge you for extra content. That is AAA right there. That is not.
That's why I pre-ordered the game. I bought it for $80 for the PlayStation 5, and I'm gonna play it after I'm done beating Starfield. After I'm done with Starfield, I will play the game.
I'm gonna buy it physical so I can play it at my leisure. Same thing with Starfield. I'm gonna start buying. I have to start. I've been trying to buy the physical copies for all the games I have on the PlayStation. It's like, wow, damn, I can't.
Yeah, I'm fine buying it digital. Like, I don't know when a physical copy is going to be available for the PlayStation 5. I even asked people at GameStop, they don't know either. So it's good to buy digital now before, instead of just waiting for a physical copy. But yeah, Starfield I bought too for $31. So,
Yeah.
and that's going to be a lot of games.
Yeah. So
With Space Magic, I'm going to be my black woman known as Shaniqua will have the power of aliens, and I will be doing levitation. I will be levitating people. I'm gonna be doing all types of shit.
why do I feel like this is part of some movie script that I've read somewhere or watched?
Yeah, I think that's what the story is. We're gonna go to different parts, find pieces of the artifact to connect to the aliens, and you're not gonna have superpowers. You're not gonna have superpowers. You're gonna let me finish. You're gonna have superpowers that's gonna be connected to aliens. That means I think the human race or your main character is gonna be part alien or have alien DNA. That'll be really, really cool.
Anyways,
that'll be really cool.
Anyways,
I'm really drunk off of this Coke and rum, so I'm sorry, y'all.
Let's take a moment to hear slurp that whatever is left of the ice water in that cup.
It's over.
Drink that. Drink that. That's not empty.
Yeah, it is empty. It's mostly it's over.
Take a sip. There we go. We had him take a sip.
So we're gonna go to talk about Baldur's Gate 3.
We already talked about Baldur's Gate 3.
I thought we were gonna keep on talking about it.
We spoke about, the fact
what else is there to talk about?
Well, we already mentioned the romances. We already mentioned the 17,000 ending.
Yeah.
We already mentioned the fact that the AAA studios
romance
are
a bear.
upset. He wants to romance a bear.
We're gonna romance a bear.
He wants to romance a bear.
You're gonna do it too. And Baldur's Gate 3.
I am not gonna romance.
Yeah, you are. We're gonna romance men, women, and bears.
I plan to romance only the women.
We're gonna romance bears.
Not bears. No.
Women, men, and bears.
I feel bad for your character.
No,
you romance a bear and you can romance a dog.
Bro, if you don't do any of that, you're not getting the Dungeons and Dragons experience. Speaking of Baldur's Gate, though, Dungeons and Dragons movie. So, but first of all, speaking of Baldur's Gate, the Dungeons and Dragons movie I love, which is such a fantastic movie. What was so great about the movie was that they mentioned Baldur's Gate in the movie, and you know what's crazy? Paramount is thinking of making a sequel anyway, even though the first movie flopped at the box office. But the reason why is because they were not expecting the movie to get such great reviews. The reviews were stellar from the critics, and it got great reviews from the audience. I even dragged my mother to see it, and she loved it. My mother did not want to see the Dungeons and Dragons movie because she remembered how shit the original movie was 23 years ago. Even though I don't think she saw it, but she was like, "No, the movie's gonna be terrible. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it." It took me like four hours to get her out of the house to go see the movie with me. We went to see the movie, and she loved it. She was even crying in the end because of how emotional it was with all the characters. Because you saw the movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. When you're led to believe that Michelle Rodriguez's character dies, and they use the last wish to bring her back instead of him bringing back his dead wife. Oh, it was such a beautiful moment, and my mother cried, and even I was emotional. I saw the movie twice. I loved it.
See, now I wanna.
It was just as great as John Wick 4, which is also great. And both movies came out the same month, back in March. And Creed 3 came out that month. That was really good. Scream 6 was really good. I freaking love Scream 6 so much. I love Scream 5. Those are the best Scream movies. This is totally off topic. But
it's completely off topic. I was gonna say, from what I've heard, Hasbro sold the studio that made the Dungeons and Dragons because they want to focus all in on video games.
I don't blame them.
Well, Hasbro,
But
It's gonna
Paramount,
be a very hard move for
but
you
Paramount
guys.
has the rights to make Dungeons and Dragons movies, and that's been the case for a while.
Oh no, I'm not doubting that Paramount has it or not. I'm saying that Hasbro, from what I read, Hasbro sold the studio that made the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, the film. They sold it because they want to dive into video games, and Hasbro hasn't really had any good video games since, well, the PS2 era, really.
Yeah.
PS2 original Xbox era. So this is going to be quite an interesting dive for them. I'm not sure if it's going to flop because the way that they're treating Magic Gathering is more so of a testing ground for all their nonsensical ideals. The fact that
What are you talking about?
Magic Gathering.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, them making a black Aragorn and shit like that is just so stupid.
Anyways, I want to mention that's off topic. I'm going to thank you here, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the time limit I have set for myself.
Yeah, 30
if you
minutes.
Like this type of content, if you like this type of content, I should have done this before at the start or the middle. If you like this type of content, click
Hit like
hit
and
thumbs
subscribe.
Up, click like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Stay up to date.
And we are
Get to the
gonna
algorithm.
play League of Legends Wild Rift and kick some ass again. So it's gonna be great. All right, so talk to y'all later. Thank you. This is Brian J's Nerd Talk. Live long and prosper.
This is Steve's Thoughts Nerd Talk.
Y'all have a good night.